Oh, hey, Jen. Good morning. Good morning. Jen said, I'm here for this one. Yes. Hello. Good morning. How are y'all doing? I'm a little early because I got finished with a ritual that I had to get done a little early. So I was supposed to come in at about 10. I'm trying to get through this because when this rain come through, before I got some stuff scheduled going on a little bit later, I want to sit here and relax and maybe watch some movies or something. I have been working. I think that sometimes I think it's really, really important if you are a spiritualist and even if if you have spiritual gifts, I think it is very important for you to have balance and, to do the things that you enjoy doing. So once I get done with this quick discussion, I am going to lounge for a little bit until I get to work later because I'm working today. All right. So hey Jen. Oh, trust me, I won't. Trust me, I won't. I control all of that. I no no no. No no no. All right. I wanted to come and talk about karmic mothers. And I see a lot of people who are mentally, spiritually, and psychologically damaged from their mother all the time. And I think that, like, when you look at the world, um, there are a lot of people who have been damaged by their mom. And it's so hard. It's so hard to deal with it. Um, I am one of those type of people to where I feel that having an understanding of something is what starts the healing process. So just simply having a deeper level of understanding instead of going straight to the negative, instead of going straight to this emotionally destitute place or desolate place to where you're being very negative, to where you are feeling unloved. And I think that that is how some mothers are able to damage their children, um, either very early on in life. And I'm guessing it can be done even as an adult. I'm guessing. I'm a very practical person. I'm on the cusp of Gemini, but I'm a Cancer, which represents the crab. And we do have a very hard exterior to where we don't look at things the way, or we don't fit like even though we're very emotional, the crabs are, but we are still very, practical in a sense to where, we're hard in that sense to where we don't allow anybody to harm us. Like I think that that is a Cancer trait that is unmatched. Okay, so shout out to my Cancer. So I think that if you have any kind of abuse or trauma from your mother early on, you can either be resilient or not. And just because a person is alive, like everybody always says, oh, you're alive, you're alive. And that's true because you always have a chance to change your reality when you're alive. So, but it's a very hard thing. It is. It's very hard. And so we're dealing with that a lot, especially people that are in denial about the damage that their moms did to them. And so I think that when you look at life, the way you have to look at it is I'm going to take my life back because you have that right. But see, so many people, they are bound to their mothers to the extent of if mama destroys herself, I'm going to be destroyed. And that within itself was something that probably was programmed in you very early on. It was programmed into you very early on that, if your mother would have been a better mother to you, she would have programmed into you immortality. She would have said, even when I'm not here, you've got to go on. That's what she would have said to you. Instead, you were programmed to shut down completely when your mother either left or whenever she shut down, whenever she decided that, she didn't want to be an adult or whatever. And so um, I think it's important to instill in your children to have their own identity. Because if people don't have their own identity, and we see these people all the time trying to steal other people's identities, it's just one of those things. And so I feel that the damage of feeling like your mother didn't love you, feeling, abandoned by your mother, I think that it's worse than your father. I think it's worse. And I think that it has had a profound effect on a lot of people in their adulthood to the point where, prisons, psychiatric clinics, hospitals are filled with people with mommy issues every single day. And, even when people see you healing and, moving on past, if they know what kind of mother that you had, because a lot of people had narcissistic mothers, and your narcissistic mother talked about you like a dog, went against you, did everything to ruin your life because, you know, they wanted to use you as pretty much as their pawn. And, you weren't really allowed to have that identity. Now, I'm going to educate y'all about where that comes from. I think it's really, really important to explore your past life. More than likely, and I'm talking about 9 times out of 10, if you have an extremely toxic relationship with your mother at any point in time in your life, I think that you probably already have a past life. Like that's a sign that you have a past life. I think it's important to explore that past life and to educate yourself as to where it's coming from. In particular, if you have not done anything if you stole from your mother or if you were violent towards your mother, then that would be a reason for your mother to kind of be like, I don't, want to deal with this person because they did da 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 da. But if you're somebody that did not do any of those things, then you have to wonder, where does this come from? And you would be surprised if you do a past life reading on your mother, on you and your mother, and to find out who she was in the past life. So basically, what ended up happening is that somehow, when you incarnated through somebody that was possibly your sworn enemy in a past life. Now, past life memories and regressions can be very powerful and very real. And I think that it is important for a lot of people to catch themselves. If you find yourself hating your child, and you don't know where that's coming from, and you just have it out for your child, and you just want to harm your child and destroy your child, I think that if they would have explored that on some level, then possibly the situation could have been rectified, because self is always trying to reconnect with self. And so, right now in this presence that we're in this particular time, a lot of people have you could be experiencing any one of your past lives, and you may have several different situations related to that specific past life. So for example, if you look back to the 1700s, it could go way back, it could go back further than that. But when you look at society and how if you look at how society has evolved, there was a time when women would give birth to little girls and not want them. That was something that was huge back in the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s. People are forgetting about that. So if you look back in history, there was a time, especially if you were of status, or if you were married to a king, or you wanted to marry a king, he wanted a boy for some reason. And you were a girl. And so I think they just stopped putting little baby girls to death over in other countries. If it was too many girls, they would just put them to death. And so this is sort of the history. So when you look at the situation, you'll find that there are more mothers and daughters that have an issue. And so a lot of the times, in most cases, it is karmic past life. Now, of course, there are other factors that will go along with that, as far as what is happening with your mother spiritually as well. But when I stated that self is constantly trying to join with self, that is the truth, which is why a lot of people, when they incarnate, they may have scars and stuff and certain things on the body that signify the past life. You may have certain phobias or fears that are related to how you died in the past life. I think that back in the day, the way that they did away with a lot of newborn baby girls, they just threw them in the river. They just threw them in the ocean, threw them in there and walked away and said, up, bye, whenever you had something like that going on. So that's why there's a lot of people that have a fear of drowning, because, drowning was one of the biggest ways by which they would extinguish of their own children. And see, y'all got to understand right now, some of the stuff that is happening, especially with these new abortion laws. And so I know a lot of women are really, really, really sensitive to that, because they feel like, well, what if I get raped? What if I don't want the child? And so a lot of women have been disempowered to the point where they want that right to be there just in case something happens to them. It almost becomes a rite of passage to be raped or to be violated. And so women are constantly trying to find a way to fix things instead of their power. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Jen. In fact, Henry VIII, he did not want a little girl, and his wives kept giving birth to little girls, and he would divorce those women and move on. He would not stay with those women if they could not bear him a son until probably like maybe the 1900s, probably the 1800s, somewhere in there, when they found out that the man's sperm is the one that actually determines the gender of the baby. Okay. And so I think that through education and science, it really educated a lot of people. When you think about it, damn, that's cold blooded. Where was your parental instincts? Where was your instincts, the way that they used to do? And I'm not saying that everybody did that, obviously. But when you think about it, you just never know, especially if you have a mother that is big on abortion, and she may have been able to get rid of you. She may have been able to get all of the benefits while she was pregnant. And then once she gave birth to you, she just wanted to throw you in the river and keep it moving. Because people are usually very kind to pregnant women, until the whole thing to where, the casting system came about when you needed to be married. Whether or not you were rich or poor, you needed to be married to be treated, in a respectful sense. But it was a stigmatization. And so when you think about most of us, probably a lot of you guys that are watching, y'all were possibly born around what, the 70s, 80s, 60s, 50s, possibly. And there was even like when you think about it, what would in this day and age make a woman ashamed of being pregnant? So you have to wonder how much of her past life is affecting her. So your past self is constantly trying to join your current self, which is why a lot of people get lost in translation. Really, Jen? Oh my good. Yeah. A lot of women with toxic mothers have reported that their mother preferred boys. But then again, Jen, there are some mothers that just hated all their kids. They just couldn't stand all their kids. They felt like the kids ruined their lives. They felt like the kids ruined their bodies. They were not able to embrace their post-pregnancy body, which we can kind of see why. People are really hard on women who have had babies. Because once you have a baby, it does make your body look different. It doesn't mean that it looks bad, but it just changes the body. It widens the hips. If you don't keep yourself in shape, your stomach may look a certain type of way. So, pregnancy really can have and take a toll on a woman's body. So sometimes you have to look at past life. That's going to be your first clue. Even if in this current life your mother has like these toxic influences and associations and all of that, as a mother, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. I have sensed people trying to turn me against my kids and they can't do it. So what's wrong with them? I don't care if a million people tried to force me to hate my kids, I'm still gonna love them. So what the hell is wrong with them? So you still got to kind of look at it from all angles. Once you start to understand something, you start to heal from it and you can get a better understanding. It's not something that you have to just go around and walk around the streets and, it can really mess people up. you don't have to run around the streets and, run up on people and, say to them, well, my mother was actually my enemy in a previous life. You'd be surprised at who she actually was. Sometimes your mother could have been a man in a previous life. And it is almost like this spiritual freak of nature, this thing that happened that wasn't supposed to, unfortunately, but it did. And what do? You take the high road and you make the best of it. You can't continue to let that tear you down. So, first thing you want to look at is the karmic past life. Who was your mother in a previous life? What was the relationship like? Who were they? Who you were? And then looking at the current life, you have to look around you. You have to look. A lot of times, your current life is this reality that supports all of the trauma of the past life. So you have to look at that too, right? Past lives, I've always had children, two boys, one girl. I have three beautiful girls, wanted a boy, three strikes, I'm out. Want to keep trying for a boy. Oh, really, to be honest with you, when it comes to that whole gender thing, it was something that was actually passed down from the elites. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, like in about the 1700s, it was all about burying a son, and it still sometimes is. So, yeah, you just want to be happy with having healthy children because I've went through pregnancy loss before, and my goodness, being a mother doesn't have to be scary. It doesn't have to be a scary experience. I think that you just have to have a lot of confidence in yourself as a mother, and to give them that protective energy that they need. You know what I'm saying? So, um but look at that, and then look at the current situation as well. We were talking about spirit possession. If you were who you were in your past life is different than who you were in this life. You were different. And so when you think about it, okay, so do y'all believe in that paradigm to where no matter where we are at in time, the past and the future is already happening? What do they call that? Is that space-time continuum? Something about quantum physics. I've been reading up a little bit about it, but I don't have a have a lot of time. So when you think, I think it's called space-time continuum. Right now, at this moment, everything that happened in the past is happening daily, by the second, by the minute, by the hour. So everything from like the 1600s, the 1700s, and as the days go by, it's happening probably even on that same exact day. Okay, y'all be freaked out if y'all went and saw some of the stuff that was happening in the month of August 100 years ago. Even 100 years ago is astounding. So when you think about it, you could possibly, some of these mothers could have possibly become possessed by their former self. And that's why it wasn't foreign to them. They didn't feel some type of way, because everybody that has a unclean spirit, well, most people that have some kind of spirit in them that is not serving them and is hurting their family, most people ain't gonna feel good about that. They're gonna be like, I don't feel right. Something ain't right. Something is off. I don't feel like myself. But if you are under possession by your past self, which is what we call past life regression, then you wouldn't think it was anything wrong with you. That's just like a lot of us witches. We are literally ourselves or witchy selves from a previous life, but we just have to catch up and say, okay, this is a different life. I know my witchy self. I remember some of the rituals that I did. I remember knowing how to do this. I remember knowing how to do that. And so those are the good things, which, there's a lot of bad things that come in with that too. Bad spirits, wounds and stuff that you may have had, especially if you were burned, especially if you were drowned or raped or some other type of injustice happening to you. So that's another aspect. And so a lot of us, we're a walking, talking miracle. We are literally miracles. It is a miracle to still be sound and sane and grounded, being that you are possibly dealing with several different past lives at the same time. And I think that the whole mother thing is one of them. I think it's good to look at it from that perspective, because I think that it ushers in healing, you know. Now, sometimes your mother could become possessed by an outside force. It's a possibility. Most of the time, it's past life, especially if it's not just an ordinary situation to where, okay, I just don't, jive well with my mother. But if your mother is doing things that are off the chain, like what I be seeing some of these mothers do, I've seen mothers do spell work on their kids. I've seen mothers do death magic on their kids. I've seen mothers psychically attack their kids. I've seen mothers, berate their children, gang stalk their children, be involved with the gang stalking. That is when it's like, okay, wait a minute, this ain't normal. Because I think that everybody has, like, from time to time, there may be some misunderstandings with your children, or from time to time, it may, you may just have a bad day. And, maybe y'all might get into a tiff, and you apologize and you move forward. But when it turns into, I am going to destroy this child and I should have aborted this child. And I don't care how old you are, I'm your mama, I can take you out. That's when it's time to become concerned. If your mother is making things harder for you in a world that's already very hard. A lot of people don't understand that. People that have issues with their mother, there's a lot of people, they like, my mama loved the hell out of me, and I know how you feel, because I love my kids and I'll take a bullet for my kids. But there are some mothers out there that are helter skelter. um, they want to compete with their daughters, they want to compete with their sons, they want to compete with their sons' wives. I mean, it is just a pure mess. And they're constantly causing drama and suffering and health problems. Anytime your mother is causing health problems, that is cause for concern. You have to also accept that you don't live this perfect life. You know, a lot of people would be embarrassed to admit that they had problems with their mama. And they rather carry on a facade as if they didn't. And they suffer in silence. I realized this when the Lionsgate portals opened. I was getting phone calls, text messages, especially people that are woke to that. There's a lot of people that are not aware, but then again, there's a lot of people that are. Having a negative relationship with your mother to the point where your mother's trying to destroy you can have a very devastating domino effect on your life. And you have to understand that there's something that you can do about that. Besides loading up a gun and going and murdering your mother. Okay. Now, there's a lot of systems by which your mother can attack you with, you know, a lot of systems that are put into place for other reasons that she can attack you with, that she can try to assert this negative energy onto you. But still, there's something that you can do about that. I mean, I personally feel as though a lot of you guys that have issues with your mother, a lot of y'all are witches. A lot of y'all are important, you know? And the way spirit sees it over here in Georgia, you can still get abortions over here in Georgia. That's a lie. Um, but you can't do it past 6 weeks of pregnancy, which a lot of women feel like, well, I probably won't even know that I'm pregnant, you know, until what far past 6 weeks. But most people do, but some people don't. And I think that what they're probably going to end up doing is banning it all together. And so if that, because, and you know why? I'm going to tell you why they have to do that. They have to regulate what is going on, because this is, I can't tell you how many times, if the world were to get real quiet, you could hear these babies crying, just babies crying. My great grandmother, Big Mama, she used to tell me, she used to say, don't ever have an abortion. And I said, you know, I was a little kid. I was like, well, why? And she said, because you'll still be a mother. You'll just be a mother to a dead baby that you murdered. So this is not just about abortion. This is about getting in tune with nature. You know, when all of this first transpired, it is getting away from nature, because it's not supposed to be in the nature of us to do any of the things that you see people doing. Okay. I'm a life path 8 too, Vanessa. Yeah. That's crazy, Vanessa. What's your zodiac sign? Because I was just burning ancestor money too. Like literally right before I went live, I was burning ancestor money. It definitely, like, you know, and then I also feel as though you could possibly heal your relationship with your mother if she's willing, by doing past life stuff. Now, I think that a lot of women that had a negative relationship with their mother, they felt like the mother, they felt like, y'all know Flowers in the Attic. You know, it's up that mother. She was bad. She sold her kids out for money and was trying to kill them. But um, before things go too far, possibly, it just really depends on how destructive that mother is. You're a Scorpio Saggy cusp. That's cool. That's what's up. Well, welcome to the channel. Yeah, I'm a life path 8, number 2. Yeah, go figure, huh? So I think that even if it's impossible to mend the relationship, even if it's impossible to do that, I don't think that you have to feel as though you don't matter, or you don't have to feel as though you're not important or you're not loved or you're not wanted. And those memories of feeling unwanted, some people can't forget them. Depends on your mind and how it works. I am a Cancer Gemini cusp, but I'm a Cancer sign with a Leo rising, um, Virgo moon, and then I have Taurus in my Venus. My Lilith, my Mercury, and my Jupiter is in Gemini. I have a tendency when I care about somebody and I love them, I literally forgive and forget. I do. And I think it might be the Leo rising, the Leo ascendant, because, especially, but it's something about that when you are in the position of being a mother and a grandmother, this is a very important position. This is something to where you're too powerful as a woman to be nilly-willy. You can't be nilly-willy and frilly when you're a mother and a grandmother. So this is the reason why a lot of you can't forgive. And you're like, no, it's something about once your mother turns her back on you, it's very hard to trust them again. It is. It's very hard to trust them. And then especially if the grandmother, if grandchildren came along and the mother did something to threaten the future of the grandchildren. You know what I'm saying? That can be very unforgiving. And it's because of the type of power that your mother can hold over you to the point where, that one bad decision can possibly traumatize somebody for life. So a lot of the grandmothers out there now that are estranged from their daughters, they did something, they want forgiveness, but the daughter shuts them out. And that is because of the power that you hold as a mother, no matter how old your children get. And I'm not talking about father, I'm talking about mother. This is a woman that held, this is a person that carried you in her body for 10 months. And it's very, very hard to forgive, especially when you are a mother and, that generational curse starts to affect your children and you want what's best for your children. Especially if the mother is not admitting to her faults. What do you expect? And so a lot of people really, really feel bad because of that. Like they really, or angry because of that. But it's really important for you to release that anger into, like, you got your whole life ahead of you. You know, at the end of the day, you can at least appreciate the fact that you were given life and you have the opportunity to change your circumstances every single day. Every day when you wake up in the morning, you have the power to change your situation no matter how bad it got. Because I'm gonna tell y'all something. I've had clients to where their mother did things to hurt them very much. Caused them to either miscarry or lose their child. You do something like that, and you do it out of selfishness, and you just, you know, when a mother does that, that's going to lead to a lot of anger that probably a person wouldn't let it go. It doesn't mean that they're going to be angry all the time, you know, maybe once the situation is rectified, but it doesn't mean that they have to be angry all the time. But it's just like, you know, I am no contact with you, you know, and that's just like anybody, you know, it's just like anybody that does something to do harm to your children. It's going to be very hard to forgive them, you know, especially if it's your mama. So exploring it and throwing your cards out and getting a better understanding changes everything. Then that's when you start to heal. And then, especially if you do past life regression work, because when you have a mother from the past life that may have been a different person, or she could have been your mother in a past life too. She could have been a sister or an aunt or a grandmother. You just never know. Not only are you dealing with what's currently happening, but then you're also dealing with the past life. So I am a spiritualist that does past life work, and I can promise you that it works. I think I have, and it's something that you want to stick with. Um, Stick with it and don't give up on it. Okay. Because that past life energy is constantly trying to creep back in there. And it's constantly trying to haunt you almost. And it's just like, whoa. Then the next thing you know, you have chaos. A lot of the chaos that people are experiencing, a lot of the confusion that people are experiencing, it's coming directly from their past life. If you are cleansing that, I was hearing a weird noise back here. It was so weird. Once you start to cleanse that and clear that, that'll probably just be just about the easiest past life regression that you're going to deal with. Because at the end of the day, guess what? Your mother gave birth to you, but you deserve to be your own individual. You deserve to move beyond whatever that was, whatever was happening with your parents. You deserve that. Okay. And, you know, and so, yeah, deal with that. But then here's another thing, you got to deal with it quickly because guess what? You probably had other past lives besides that you could be having regressions from. So a lot of psychiatrists and psychologists, what they do is past life therapy, which to me is that you, Kitty? Why are you making all that noise? What are you doing? Um, and guess what? There's probably going to be people that are going to try to remind you of that. There's probably going to be people that are going to try to conjure up those energies. Don't let it weaken you. There's some people that are so emotional about their mother that if somebody brings it up, they just fall to pieces. And you can't do that. You can't fall to pieces. You have to move on with yourself. You have to realize that, she gave birth to you, but you are still your own person. That is the greatest gift that a mother can give to her child, is by giving that child their own identity, because that's very powerful. Yeah, but you know what? Where did the tumor come from, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, when I do research and stuff on like medical stuff, like I always look at everything from a spiritual perspective. When you think about it, a tumor is a growth. Where did it come from? It just all of a sudden started growing there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, people have all kinds of issues. They have, what they call mental problems. I'm here to tell you that a lot of the mental problems are caused by spiritual problems. It is. It's a spiritual problem that affects the mental. Traumas can happen. People can have PTSD, people can have anxiety. But when you literally have a pathology of the types of, mothers that we're talking about right now, like to the point where they just hate their kids and, set them up for failure, and, you know, you have thyroid problems. Okay. Yeah. And I think that, a lot of people, that when that manifests as an adult, that hatred, that visceral, you got to think, you've been around this person since you were a little kid. What were they doing when you were a little kid? What were they saying to you? What have you taken in that you need to release? A lot of that emotional pain, especially if you don't remember. Hmm. You got to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? And you got to release all of that stuff. Otherwise, it'll just be emotional baggage that you'll be carrying with you. And it will block you. It'll block you up. You'll have all kinds of, things going on. You'll feel very unfulfilled. You'll feel like, things never work out for you. And so there's a lot of people, they think, well, my mother died, it's over. No, it ain't. Because people people don't just die and go. That's not true. What if you had a toxic mother that hated you, that hung around and tormented you? So I've heard of that happening too. And, so then that's when you'll have to do certain rituals. I do practice necromancy. And so necromancy is literally, that's what it is. Sometimes I don't feel that half of these funeral homes are actually laying people to rest. Yeah. that they not resting, their spirit is roaming. So then there's ways of containing that spirit and forcing it to move on. When I look at people like China White, look at her and her mother, for example, since a lot of people on YouTube are into celebrities. um I feel that when China White's mother transitions, that lady gonna haunt the hell out of China White. She ain't gonna let go. She ain't gonna let go of that girl. You know what I'm saying? And another one that I kind of suspected was Keisha Cole. Her mother passed away just recently, but I kind of suspected it, didn't really read into it. You know what I'm saying? Keisha Cole possibly could be haunted. I don't know for sure, but I'm just trying to think of examples of, and parents are not perfect. No parent is perfect, but when you spend day in and day out trying to crush your kids' dreams, trying to destroy their life, trying to, put them down and, trying to, make them sad or, doing things to make them depressed or, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Urban Roots, hello. Oh, yeah, it was. I loved it. I fell asleep. I got woke up at like 4 o'clock this morning, but I fell asleep. It was about three. I fell asleep probably about 12. And so I'm literally on 3 hours of sleep. Um, so I think it's important to, because spirits, that's AKA consciousness. Okay. Nice. Yeah, parents are not always perfect. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to do everything on your time all the time, but when it's a takedown, like I'm jealous and I must, you can't go further than me or, some crap like that. The trauma that they can be willing to put you through is probably some of the worst. And, I think that you have to look at the family because it can be a family sickness. What is the rest of the family doing? Are the rest of the family in denial? What are they doing? Are they keeping it real about the situation? Or are they trying to cover it up? Trying to pretend that the pink elephant ain't in the room? You know, just like if there was any kind of physical, really bad physical abuse, or just, mainly a lot of us, a lot of people went through emotional abuse and, you know, and I'm not trying to bring this up too much, but in particular with that whole gender dysphoria situation, you know what I'm saying? And I think that it's something that's kept under the rug to the point where, there are some mothers that gave birth to boys and they wanted girls and they did certain things and then vice versa. Yeah. And I think that this is the kind of stuff that's swept under the rugs. And so, I think that these types of mothers, they should never be empowered. No, If they're trying to take a child out of their nature, out of their element, if they're trying to do things to permanently disable a child, or if they're trying to stigmatize a child, then that person should not be given the power, over their child, especially, you know what I'm saying? If you grown, like, I don't even want to talk to no mothers that are dogging out their kids. You know what I'm saying? And I have spoken to mothers that have problems with their grown daughters. I'm not saying that, because I'm able to see if, the actual person was toxic, who was the toxic one. I can actually see that. So I'm not saying that, situations can't be different, but for some reason, I think that there are some people that they feel that they were given the power over this child, and then that power corrupts. So they don't look at being a mother as being a mother. It's more so a power trip. Right. Yeah, I've heard about narcissistic mothers, urban roots, and they do the most. They do the most. I done heard, like, I done seen plenty of kids, young adults, grown people get killed. I've seen narcissistic mothers set their child up to be murdered. Okay. Yeah, now see that now, and you kind of see it in the news every day. Let's just keep it real. Oh man, you got it. You got your mother and your grandmother. Oh goodness gracious. Oh Lord, what did you do, Urban Roots? Did you try hot foot powder or something? What did you do? Just curious. Because I think that hot foot powder is good. And some of that slippery elm bark. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty terrible. It's pretty sad. Really? Just Malayan leaf? Hmm. Interesting. Was your mother a witch though? Did she like practice spells and stuff? Did dollhouse magic and stuff like that? Oh goodness. Hmm. Wow. That's interesting. But Malayan is actually a very it's a very powerful plant. I actually, whenever I get Malayan leaf, it's the first to go. I don't even think I have any Malayan left. I need to get some more. I personally think that Michael Jackson's mother was like that. I don't think that Karen Jackson is the sweet lady that she fronts to be. You know what I'm saying? I just have a feeling. No, I already know what to use, Urban Roots. I just was wondering, what you did just to, kind of, I think everybody has to use something different. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but go ahead and send me some herbs. I always take a gift of herbs. Heck yeah, send that to me. But yeah, um, Depends on the person. Yeah. I got a pretty good apothecary in there now. I got a whole bunch of herbs. I just got to organize them and refill my bottles. I don't have every type of herb though, but I do have a pretty wide, uh, you know, range of herbs in there. You ain't seen my apothecary? That's shocking. It's a small one. Because I keep my oils up here. And hold on, let me try to close that. Yeah, I need to organize better. I need to, yeah, I've got stuff kind of all over the place. And I keep all of my extra herbs down here, which I need to organize all of this. I need to get some little small bins, you know, to slide in there. Keep that in there. Yeah, it must have been a while since you've been around and see a lot of my bottles need to be filled up. But yeah, yep, I got an apothecary. It's just a little messy, but otherwise, you know, I got to do some organizing, but I'm able to find them pretty good. Yes, ma'am. Got some basil right there. Um, this is some good stuff too, right here. But yeah. Yeah, girl, I've had this apothecary for like over a year, like well over a year. I'm surprised you didn't know about that. I think that horehound and vervain is two other herb, and then these elderberries is really good for that too. But what? Okay. Yeah, I have somewhat of a small nook over here in my little dining room area. I have an eat-in kitchen. And what? She must want some water. You want water? You just had some water. So yeah, a lot of the you know what herbs are really good for healing? Um Healing from you know, sort of like that narcissistic mother abuse is motherwort. I love that stuff. I do. I love me some motherwort. I have it somewhere around here. Let me see if, yeah, she's definitely saying hi. Let me see if I can find that motherwort because I love that stuff. That stuff is really good. You can actually drink it in a tea. It's so soothing. It's so soothing. Where is my motherwort? What is it, kitty? Kitty. Nope, I can't seem to find it at the moment. And I need to burn some. I love this stuff right here too. This dandelion leaf. I love this stuff. I like to burn certain. Oh, and there's that 5 finger grass I was looking for. I done found everything, y'all. Some Where is that motherwort at? See, I used to have everything in alphabetical order, and that went quick. Got some blessed thistle back there. Wait a minute. Oh, that's goldenrod. I know I have some motherwort in here somewhere. If not, I'll have to yank it out of the cabinet. That's my valerian root. I kind of keep that in the back because that stuff is really, really pungent. And I got, look at all these herbs I got just sitting here that I need to organize. I got a lot of organizing that I need to do in my apothecary. I really do. I really, really do. Um, oh, there's some hawthorn berries. There's some more blessed thistle. Yeah, I gotta find my motherwort because I like to burn that stuff. I feel like a lot of people are dealing with that. You know, a lot of the herbs. What do you want, kitty? Is it kitty? Herbs really will help you, you know, and it's mainly because they come from the earth, which is Mother Earth, you know. Years ago, I was dating this guy years ago, about 20 years ago, in fact. And he was saying something to me. And he said, well, if your mother don't love you, don't nobody love you. And you know what? Don't ever believe that. There are people in this world that will embrace and love you to the moon and back. Don't ever believe that. He was kind of a negative person. Yeah, there goes my mother world. Leonoris cardiac. This is really good because it can be really look at this. Look at this crazy girl right here. Can you please get out of there, Mary? Mary. Mary. You see what she doing? She thinks she cute. Come on. See, I need to put all these. I need to put all these in alphabetical order. Yeah, that's not true all the time, you know. And see, some people, they become afraid of judgment. They become afraid of being judged. And, you know, I remember hearing people say that if you have issues with your mother and you tell people, and, they have all sorts of ways to get you to accept it as a normalcy. Um, but oh, if you talk to somebody about that, it's gonna make you look crazy. And it doesn't make you look crazy. There's a lot of people out there that will understand. Now, are we gonna suggest that you go off the deep end? No, don't go off on the deep end. Just gain an understanding, and deal with it, and then you'll start to heal. You really will start to heal, and you can get on with life. You can move forward and have a very happy and fulfilled life. Even when things may remind you of your mother, and so, now I know that some people, especially very spiritual people, when something pops up that may remind them in a negative way, it's very easy to get kind of scared. And so you get kind of scared and you say, oh my God, is this starting all over again? And, that's something that eventually you'll gain control of. I feel like life is but a dream. And I feel like everybody can control their own dreams. Okay? You can. The moment that you stop believing in that is when you got to work on yourself. Which brings me to my wild lettuce sleep. That's another. See, Cass, I can sit and talk to you about herbs for hours. For hours. Wild lettuce leaf is some amazing stuff. I like to toss a little bit of it in my spiritual baths. It seems like it helps with, like, as far as just helping you to fulfill your dreams in life. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those really, really mysterious, like, Native American herbs. It's called Lactuca verosa, and it says that it was often used among Native Americans in religious ritual as an aid in seeking meditative trances and visions and to create more vivid dreams. Um, and so, but when it comes to a lot of the herbs, and I found that out because hold on, y'all. Okay, y'all, I gotta go. I will see y'all later. And I just all of a sudden something came up. I'll see y'all later. Okay. Blessings.